Matson, celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus Hyundai, home of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on Prime Time, with more than 20,000 applicants so far, will the governor consider lifting the cap for the All-Rise funding? Plus, an early morning crash in Chalampago claims the life of 2 young men. And contact tracing can't keep up with the Delta variant. The focus is now on testing and treatment.
Hafide and good evening, everyone. If the first day was any indication, there continues to be an overwhelming demand for pandemic assistance, as Refunds took in more than 20,000 applications Wednesday for the All Rise program. Meanwhile, there are also indications that the governor may be willing to provide more funding if the initial $30 million allocation is exhausted. Here's more. When asked if the governor is considering lifting the cap to accommodate all qualified applicants, Governor's Communications Director Crystal Paco San Agustin issued this response, quote, "There is a finite group of people who qualify for this program, and as we do with the execution of all our other programs, we will ensure that those who qualify and apply receive the help they need in the order in which they applied, just as we do tax refunds. We continue to monitor the program closely, and should it warrant additional funds, Governor Leon Guerrero has committed to identifying such funds. And that could come soon, very soon." Director Daphne Shimizu was asked when she believes the fund could be exhausted.
Of course, if we had the same type of flow that we had yesterday, I think that, and going all the way into the end of the day, I think that probably it's possible we may have already hit it. As soon as we get close to or hit that cap, we're going to be advising everyone. And as soon as we, of course, have to close the application process, we'll advise everybody as well.
They still need to confirm how many of the 20,000 applications already received are qualified and how many were joint applications in which the payout is $1,600. Assessing those will take some time.
It's difficult to say because we can't tell how many of the manual ones are joint or how many of them are single. Also, we can't tell how many of them are A status or suspense, and we can't, we don't know the reason. So we're still, again, trying to assess all of that in addition to trying to make sure that we assess as well the reason for the suspense.
DRT will continue with this current process, but if they run out of money before they run out of qualified applicants?
And if there was a need to find additional funding, that's something that, she would do her best to do.
Separately, Shimizu acknowledged that while they had some early technical problems with online applications and there were long lines of filers at the start of the day, the mad rush eventually subsided and they were able to accommodate all.
Probably mid-afternoon yesterday, maybe around 2:30, 3 o'clock, we did have reports from people that were driving through the drive-through line that one person said it took them about 10 minutes to get through the line. And then after that, around 3:30, I was able to get a picture of the drive-through line because we've been really monitoring it closely, and there were no vehicles at some point.
By the end of the day, they had processed what may be a single-day record for DRT of some 20,500 applications. Local business groups are again urging their members to consider scaling back operations to help fight off the rising COVID infections. Representatives from the Guam Chamber of Commerce, the Women's Chamber, and the Hotel and Restaurant Association are suggesting that companies go back to the basics to help contain the latest surge. But GHRA's Mary Rhodes and the Chamber's Christine Boleto clarify that companies should still do what's best for them.
We're not really asking everybody to, across the board, go 50%. We're asking everybody to consider their establishment, what they can afford to do within the social distancing mandates that are required, and still practicing the 3 Ws.
And if it doesn't make sense and they're able to keep their employees, their customers safe, then it's fine to remain at 100%. The key there is maintaining the safety and ensuring the safety of employees and customers.
Businesses are facing kind of a triple whammy, Rhodes says. Some, particularly those covered under the governor's more restrictive executive order, are seeing as much as an 85% drop in their revenues.
You know, it's a multitude of things. It's not just the EO, it's the fact that PUA is ending, and a lot of that available income that people had, disposable income, is really going away. And with minimum wage increase, that took effect September 1, yesterday, there are a lot of things that are really going to cripple our economy.
They're hoping that the faster this latest surge can be contained, the faster the economy can fully reopen again. 2 young men were killed, a 21-year-old and a 25-year-old, in an early morning single car crash today. Police say just before 1 a.m., 911 received a call of a Toyota Echo slamming into a concrete utility pole on Route 4 by the Chalanpago Church. Medics from the Guam Fire Department transported the 2 male occupants to Naval Hospital with CPR in progress. The hospital's public affairs officer confirmed that both were later pronounced deceased. The crash investigation remains open as traffic investigators have yet to determine if speed, alcohol, or drugs were factors. This marks the island's 11th and 12th traffic-related fatalities this year. And the island has recorded its 150th COVID-related death since the pandemic began in March of last year. The Joint Information Center confirmed that the patient, a 75-year-old man, passed away at the Guam Regional Medical City early Wednesday morning. He had no underlying health conditions and was not vaccinated. And while we wait on the new numbers from the Joint Information Center, let's take a look at last night's results. There were 181 new positive cases reported out of 1,567 test samples received on August 31st. Of that number, 91 were identified through contact tracing. There are 45 hospitalizations, 26 are unvaccinated, 17 are vaccinated, and 2 are unknown. 8 people were receiving ICU level of care with 1 on a ventilator. Our current COVID case count is now 10,740, and the CAR score is at 44. And critical care facilities at Guam Memorial Hospital continue to operate at full capacity. Less than 24 hours since it was open, GMH Administrator Lillian Posada says the Blue Med tent is full of COVID-19 patients and the intensive care unit is also full. But Posada says the situation can change depending on the status of a patient.
Patients' conditions improve so we can move them out of ICU and make a bed available for an incoming ICU patient. So it all also depends on the conditions of the patient. If the doctors think that these patients who are currently in ICU are stable enough to then be moved out of ICU and be put in a telemetry unit, that opens up the beds in the ICU.
Posadas adds that they're preparing for a rise in pediatric patients. She confirms that currently there are 2 children hospitalized and one of them is less than a year old. The Dominican Child Development Center reported Wednesday that another student has tested positive for the COVID-19 virus, the 3rd overall from the Ordot school. To date, there are a total of 37 Catholic school students who have tested positive for the virus. And after a brief relocation earlier today, operations are back to normal at the 911 center in Agana Heights. Dispatchers from both the police and fire departments were transferred temporarily after a GFD dispatcher tested positive. Police dispatch operations were moved to GPD headquarters in Tizan, and fire dispatchers were moved to the GFD headquarters in Hagåtña to allow for deep cleaning and sanitization of the 911 center. According to GFD spokesperson Cherika Chargaloff, dispatchers that may have been exposed will be tested, and the positive case remains in home isolation. And the Department of Public Health is switching up its strategy to combat the fast-spreading Delta variant, and key to their plan is more testing and treatment.
The record-breaking number of COVID cases has thrown DPHSS a curveball.
With the Delta variant, it is a different ballgame.
With almost 1,000 new cases and 3 deaths in the past 7 days, Team Guam is on a losing streak. That's because the Delta variant moves faster and spreads quicker. Compared to last year, it could take anywhere between 5 to 7 days for COVID symptoms to appear, whereas with Delta, it takes about 4. Public Health Chief Officer Chima Mbakwem.
Which means there's heightened transmissibility within that short period. So you're seeing more people going to get infected.
Because of the shorter incubation period, it makes contact tracing even more difficult. So the best defense, according to KUAM, is to focus less on contact tracing.
So that's why we're saying, go get tested, catch it on time, continue to wear your mask. If you know you've been in a situation where you believe you've been exposed, please go get tested.
Joining Team Guam to help with their new game plan is FEMA.
They're giving us like a week or two, all those people will be on the island.
It was in August when FEMA issued an advisory wherein state, tribal, and territorial governments experiencing increased cases and hospitalizations as a result of new COVID strains could request for medical staff.
We actually requested for 40. So we actually requested for 20 to support the vaccine. We requested for another 20 to support the Regeneron treatment for individuals that have COVID. So we actually requested for 40 people to join us.
Along with medical assistance from FEMA, recruits from UOG and GCC, Public Health is stacking their team that KUAM says will enable them to increase testing capacity, vaccine administration, and provide monoclonal treatment.
Within this short period, we're going to see a lot of improvement in services.
KUAM says they're looking at opening up additional testing and vaccination sites, but also locations where people who've been infected can receive monoclonal therapy with Regeneron.
The governor actually has a team that is working, quickly to set up this treatment site. And, GMH is actually offering the treatment to their patients too. But I think what the governor is trying to do is, make it available for everybody, who is exposed or who has COVID. So that's why we're actually asking for that support.
At the end of the day, though, island residents need to step up to the plate.
You test, you're safe, but for you to remain safe, you need to wear your mask, you need to keep your distance, you need to wash your hands.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matanoni.
Time for a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Half a day. As we look ahead to a brighter tomorrow, Matson's commitment to Guam and Micronesia remains stronger than ever. While the world around us is ever-changing, what remains unchanged is our commitment to you, our customers, and the island communities we serve. Shipping is what we do best, and serving our community is at the heart of everything we do. But we don't do it alone. This is why we support organizations that make caring for the people and the environment a top priority. We know that many count on Matson's lifeline services in the Pacific, and that's why we continue to work hard to ensure that our shipments remain on time all the time. Matson recently added another Aloha-class vessel to our schedule. We now have 2 of Matson's largest and fastest ships serving Guam from the U.S. West Coast and Hawaii. With our new state-of-the-art vessels, we stand ready to support the region's economic recovery. Thank you for the privilege of serving you for the last 25 years, and you can count on Matson to be here for the next 25 years and beyond.
We found out in May of this year that our son had a rare medical condition, and he could not seek the treatment he needed. Our specialists recommended that we travel, the only means of travel was via air ambulance.
I can honestly and truly say that Calvo Select Care is really the healthcare that is always there for us.
Of Guam employees and retirees. Enroll now.
And instant prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. Win the best-selling 2021 Toyota Corolla LE, the crossover SUV 2021 Toyota RAV4 LE, and the dynamic luxury SUV 2021 BMW X1. The more you shop, the more chance to win. In the Micronesia Malls, shop and win.
Hi, my name is Justine Chu.
Jim Pamplona.
Alexis Sablon. I'm Minami Kramer, and I'm a GTA youth leader.
Because of GTA, I was able to go to Interlaken, a summer music camp over the summer, and I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity.
It helped me pay for my college tuition with a scholarship.
Benefits, including a free phone and a year of free service.
If you're someone who wants to inspire others, help others, and become a better person, this is for you.
Become a GTA Youth Leader today.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. The latest statistics still show Guam with double-digit unemployment, but there's been a big improvement from 6 months ago. In December 2020, we saw a record high of nearly 20%. As of June of this year, a total of 8,150 people are still out of work. Here's a closer look at the numbers. The statistics are based on a Guam Department of Labor survey of about 124,000 residents aged 16 years or older. The latest quarterly results from June show overall unemployment is at 11.4%. The previous quarter in March, it was at 16.5%, or 12,660 persons completely unemployed. Female adults saw the biggest quarterly drop in unemployment at 7.8%, while male adults saw a decrease of 6.6%. The number of full-time workers decreased by 5% from March to June, from 55,230 to 52,330. Conversely, part-time workers increased by 1,940 persons. The March survey reported 8,800 part-time workers, while in June the survey reported 10,740. The statistics also reflect an increase in the number of persons considered not in the labor force. It increased by more than 5,500 people, from 47,140 in March to 52,650 in June. According to GDOL, those considered not in the labor force include civilians 16 years and over who do not classify as employed or unemployed. Persons doing only incidental unpaid family work less than 15 hours are also classified as not in the labor force. For more information, visit www.bls.guam.gov. In other news from GDOL, because of the abrupt closure of face-to-face learning in the public and private schools, parents and guardians of school-aged children may be eligible for the last week of PUA. To qualify, you must have primary caregiving responsibility and be on unpaid leave due to lack of child care. The eligible work week is August 29th through September 4th. In other news, to help students in need of internet access, the Guam Department of Education has opened 9 additional community learning centers, which will begin operations next Wednesday. KUAM's Isaiah Uggan has more.
In anticipation of a large number of students not attending classes online because of no internet access, the Guam Department of Education has announced that they are opening 9 additional community learning centers, or CLCs, to prevent that from happening. GDOE Deputy Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction Joe Sanchez says the CLCs will provide accommodation to students who need access to the internet.
We actually added some additional schools. Our intent really is to try to get all schools open, but we do have, because we also have the grab and go lunch distribution project, we're not able to have those sites at the same time, right? So there's kind of an overlap. So we have 30 schools that are going to be available as community learning centers.
CLCs were designed to allow students to utilize laptops and access the internet during distance learning due to restrictions imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic. This after Governor Lou Leon Guerrero suspended face-to-face instruction for pre-kindergarten through the 12th grade through an executive order last Friday. There are 30 community learning centers that will open on Wednesday, September 7th, the first day some 28,000 students will attend classes online for this school year. Sanchez says the CLCs will provide accommodation to students who may need access to the internet. All 30 CLC sites will operate from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
The reason why we're opening it during the day is to accommodate students, so if they do wish to attend their virtual classes during that time, they can do so.
Sanchez explains ways students can avail of the CLC services.
Students, all they need to do is call the school, or there's an online link that has been provided that they can register for a particular time slot. Once they register at the school CLC will communicate with them and possibly set up a more consistent schedule for them to access the internet.
There are 3 ways to register for the program: online, call in, or walk into your preferred school site. You can email Michelle Camacho at mmcamacho@gdoe.net or call 311 dial option 8 for more information. For the complete list of all CLC sites, head on over to KUAM.com. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Wahusi Isaiah Uggan.
A COVID-19 vaccination clinic for GDOE employees and eligible students is scheduled for next Saturday, September 18th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It will be conducted by the American Medical Center and GDOE at the Tizan High School Gymnasium. Employees and parents or guardians must log on to the GuamCovid.com portal prior to the vaccination outreach. Email info@gdoe.net for more information. And today we continue to showcase our brave frontliners who continue to hold the line against our battle with COVID-19. With more, here's Daniel Perez.
They're the first ones to answer the call, and since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, they continue to be here. First responders of the Guam Fire Department have been our first line of defense. Firefighter 1, Sean McDonough.
It's been pretty rough. It was pretty rough, but we had to adapt and adjust to different types of situations. But with the guidance that we have here and with our infection control and our other superiors involved in creating guidelines and procedures to make sure that we get home without any exposure. We're not tired. Like I said, we're still motivated. We're still determined to see this to the end, and we'll remain that way until then.
It's been half a year since the pandemic hit. Firefighter 1, Stan Ibanez, recalls his first COVID-positive patient.
When we first had our first positive case of COVID-19, I was one of the responding medics to that patient. He did make us aware of his recent travel and contact with COVID-positive individuals. From the get-go, there was a lot of uncertainty.
McDonough further added that not knowing if a patient is COVID positive or not is half the battle.
We're out in the front lines. We're in close contact with COVID positive patients, and there's some patients that we don't know that are positive and are asymptomatic. So it's very risky for us to put ourselves out there.
Our frontliners make the ultimate sacrifice every time the COVID cases rise. They continue to urge island residents to keep practicing the 3 W's and to get vaccinated to stay safe. But most importantly, they want island residents to know that we must all come together if we want to return to some sense of normalcy.
It's not going to go away until, we all can do our part and contribute towards the fight. This is not just a fight on our end. This is a fight on the community, the hospitals, everyone in general.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Daniel Perez.
Was it self-defense? That's ultimately what the jury will have to decide. Tyler Matanani takes us into the final days of the murder trial of Juan Mendiola.
Assistant Attorney General Sean Brown stated in his closing arguments that on that fateful day in May, murder defendant Juan Mendiola was both the jury and the judge. He said, quote, "Every human deserves the opportunity for life, a whole life, a full life. Mr. Rios did not have that opportunity." Mendiola is accused of fatally shooting Peter Rios at a Mungmung apartment back in 2020. Defense attorney Joshua Walsh argued that Mendiola was acting in self-defense. He recalled witness testimonies that claimed an argument ensued between the two men and that Rios was seen holding a knife and Mendiola a gun. Walsh stated that the government ultimately has no evidence that Mendiola provoked Rios. Attorney Brown, however, claimed that self-defense ended when an argument ensued and that Mendiola could have left the residence. Jury instructions will be given tomorrow at 1 p.m. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
The Department of Revenue and Taxation confirms another batch of tax refunds will be paid out this week. 1,345 error-free returns from 2020 filed on or before May 7, 2021 and prior years, totaling a little over $3.2 million are ready to be sent out. To check the status of your income tax refund, log into your individual account at www.myguamtax.com and use the Lookup Status of 1040 Refund tool. Now with regional headlines, here's KSPN2 News.
Hofade Zantino Guam. Here's what's making headlines in the CNMI. The Department of Finance, Division of Revenue and Taxation, launched their update portal for the CNMI Advanced Child Tax Credit over the weekend. You will need to use your name, Social Security number, and adjusted gross income from your most recent tax return to log in. In order to assure that you will receive the CTC payments, the qualifying child's date of birth must be inputted. Taxpayers may provide banking information for direct deposit payments. Now, this advanced CTC are early payments from the IRS of 50% of the estimated amount that you will receive next year. If Refunds has processed your 2020 tax return or 2019, the monthly payments will be made starting in August and through December. So if the CTC payments exceed your amount in 2022, you may have to pay back the excess amount. The portal is also made available to those who don't want to receive the advanced child tax and rather claim the full credit when you file the 2021 tax return. Both individuals on a joint return must unenroll to avoid receiving their advanced CTC. For anyone who cannot reach the online portal, you may pick up an application and submit it directly to Refunds. For more information, you may call 664-1000 or visit their website. Karina Magofnia has announced that she will be running in the upcoming special election this October. Democrat Chairwoman Nola Hicks describes their candidate as proactive.
Karina has always been very proactive with a lot of the things that have already been happening in the Hill. You know, she's been very responsive to a lot of the articles she reads. She's paying attention. She knows about the budget and the numbers. She just her tenacity and her positive energy, her optimism to want to run for office and serve our people is great. And I strongly urge the voters of Precinct 3 to vote for her, to get their family and their friends, to get Karina into office, because I can guarantee you that all of that energy is definitely going to be something that the CNMI can be proud of.
Magofnia ran in the 2020 election under the Democratic banner and was just 41 votes away behind Republican Ralph Yumo, who took the last seat. Magofnia is expected to officially file her candidacy this Friday at the Commonwealth Election Commission. The special election for Precinct 3 is set for October 16. For more news, please visit saipantv.com. For KSPN2, I'm Sally Limas.
Sports is next. Don't go away.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
You can count on me. You can count on me for life. Cheers to a good life, creating those better days. Through each and every phase, keep your roots in the ground. Don't need to worry, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life. Yeah. You can count on me. You can count on me for life. Whoa.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo Insurance. Count on us for life.
My barbecue bacon double cheeseburger, 2 100% beef patties, hickory smoked bacon, and award-winning barbecue sauce. Award-winning. Try my barbecue bacon double cheeseburger combo, only at Jack in the Box.
KUAM News, in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau, brings you the Guam Safe and WTTC Safe Travel Certified Program Showcase. Look out for this powerful symbol for visitors, island residents, and industry workers alike, as it represents establishments with a consistent global commitment to safety practices. Stamped with approval by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the World Travel Tourism Council. Every Monday on KUAM News will feature a different local business who's taken the Safe Guam and Safe Travels pledge to maintain health and safety standards to get Guam back on track. Log on to visitguam.com to see how your business can receive the designation, what businesses in our community are Guam Safe certified, and have the WTTC Safe Travel certified.
Brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Due to the concerns over the recent increase of positive COVID cases, Special Olympics Guam has canceled their fall sports. Softball, badminton, and soccer will be put on hold until 2022. In a press release sent out, Special Olympics Guam is looking out for the health and safety of their athletes, volunteers, families, and sponsors.
Most of them have underlying health conditions. And so the board got together and we discussed the issue. We started looking at the decline in the hundreds of positive cases. So a decision was made that we go ahead and we cancel the rest of the season.
Special Olympics will be hosting a virtual badminton competition in the near future. Floric says he's hopeful they can add a soccer competition too.
Even with no activity over the last 2 years, ITC has allowed us to stay there, continue to allow us to stay there, be able to operate out of there when we have, Zoom meetings, as well as virtual programs. That is our central headquarters. So thank you to them. Thank you to GTA. GTA continues to provide us communication to include internet. Dave, thank you to you, because I know every now and then you call me up and you ask me what's going on. Really appreciate that. And our athletes definitely appreciate that.
Out of the $919,997 awarded to sports activities from the Governor's Youth and Educational Programs, the Guam Rugby Football Union for the Youth Sports Rugby Activity Program will receive $36,500.
Because of the shutdown and us being a contact sport, a lot of our rugby athletes, especially the sort of high school guys, missed the complete season. And because they did that, we sort of had this idea of well, why don't we try to put together some sort of like you've seen the punt, pass, kick competitions for, American style football. Do something like that as socially distanced, run drills and stuff, get everybody out there. So the funding is going to allow us to put a series of these camps on throughout the island in different locations and different fields for different age groups, different skill levels. With the idea of trying to keep our rugby skills alive, even in the age of COVID, trying to do it because we didn't have these competitions. So we're hoping that we can get that going, COVID restrictions, dealt with appropriately and all that in the coming months.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
This is a bag, but for Steve, this bag gives him food cred. Because now everyone knows that when they have that craving, or they're just looking for the perfect deal, well, they just need to follow Steve.
Follow him all the way to the new McTerry Deluxe at McDonald's. It's an all-beef patty smothered with teriyaki sauce topped with lettuce and tomato on a sesame seed bun. For a limited time, price and participation may vary.
And before we go, here's our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy birthday on September 2nd to Victorino Sacklad. Much love always to our handsome young man. And happy blessed birthday from your mom, dad, brother, sister-in-law, sister, 2 nephews, and baby niece. Tony Guerrero, happy birthday to this beautiful, fun-loving, kind soul. We love and miss you, says Mom/Nana. And Jerome Montalon, happy golden birthday, Jerome. You're 50 years young today. God bless you always. We love you from your entire family. Victorino, Tony, and Jerome, you are birthday celebrants today, and we're happy to have you as part of our community. Happy birthday to each one of you.
And remember, you too can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club. Just register online on KUAM.com. That's our report for tonight. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, everyone.
Local Music Matters.